TikTok can make you famous overnight, but it almost never makes you a star. And we don't even get stars like that anymore. What's going on, y'all? It's willarmani. Hope everybody's feeling good today. If you are, please make sure to subscribe. We've got more content coming on the way. Let's get into today's topic. In the past few years, there have been so many TikTok artists who blew up into the mainstream and then disappeared just as fast. But we need to talk about how TikTok really did change the industry. For me, it started back in the pandemic, where near 2020, people were all inside. People had nothing else to do but be on their phones and be on social media. TikTok comes around, and at the time, its algorithm was pushing everybody and everything. But because of TikTok, labels chase virality over long-term artists. This is creating one-hit wonders who don't know how to build their careers. And in my opinion, if it wasn't for TikTok, we'd be in a very different place now in the music industry. Not exactly in a bad way, but not exactly in a good way either. TikTok rappers don't last because TikTok is built on algorithms, not fan bases. Viral songs spread fast, but fans don't care about you. They just care about the sound. And I think a lot of people don't take this into consideration. When I see a lot of gurus, when I see a lot of people on the internet talking about how you should blow up on TikTok and TikTok, you can gain relevancy on TikTok. You can gain exposure on TikTok. And that's a good thing, but it shouldn't be where you put all of your eggs into. Because yes, you can grow, but what we've seen in the past few years is that a lot of artists grow on TikTok, but sometimes their songs blow up so much that it becomes bigger than them, which could be a good thing for their pockets. But if you want to stay in the music industry and not just be a one-hit wonder, you need something stronger. And TikTok's algorithm doesn't really care if the person who made the song gets recognized. We even saw labels try to sue TikTok or go as far as removing their music from TikTok just because of this. It's hard to convert listeners into loyal supporters on this platform. I think another reason that artists from TikTok don't really last or haven't lasted is because they're not able to develop an artist identity. Many go viral before they even know their sound. When you blow up or grow before you even know your sound or yourself, that's really risky because you're being put into a world and an industry where all of these eyes are on you, but you weren't trained or put through the trials and tribulations to know what to do with all that fame. And a lot of these artists either fall off or just crash out all on the internet. When the trend fades, they don't have an identity to stand on. Another big one is that labels exploit the moment. I mean, labels were able to figure out very quickly that TikTok was the way to go if they wanted their artists to grow and blow up. So paying influencers to dance, paid promotion, it all led to labels really exploiting artists and exploiting the platform for their own benefit. Labels, especially soon after the pandemic, between about 2022 and 2024, went through this spree of signing artists, rushing a single, and then dropping the artist when the hype dies. And it's really sad because especially between the time of 2021 and like 2023, we saw a lot of artists kind of go up, get all of this huge label push, and then get drops from the label, and we don't even talk about a lot of those artists anymore. No hate to these artists, but artists like Midwest, SSG Kobe, a lot of these artists from that time period got a lot of push and then got dropped from the label as soon as they lost the relevancy, weren't given the chance to develop themselves. But what can TikTok rappers do, or rappers in general who use a platform like TikTok, to keep themselves going, to keep themselves going past the platform? Well, they have to focus on artistry and not just virality. I think as an artist myself and as a creator, you get stuck in that mental loop of you need to go viral, and it needs to happen on that platform. But virality doesn't mean that you'll have a long-term and long-lasting career. And you can't get this mixed up if you're an artist, because if you do, you will have a moment and then you'll go from millions of views to thousands. And not only does that mess with your ego, but that definitely messes with somebody's mental health. Like I always say, you gotta build a personal brand alongside your music. It can't just be the music and the viral snippets, because it's not gonna last, and you need to be able to recognize that. Some people are able to keep their virality for longer periods of time, but the truth of the matter is there's always going to be another generation of people coming in, and there's always going to be a time where your time is up, and not in a bad way, but in a way where if you don't evolve or have something aside from your music that propels you into another direction, you'll fade alongside the generation you came up in. I think another thing is that these artists need to stop rushing into these label deals, because I don't know how many times we have to see videos where artists like Uzi, artists like Trippy, different artists talk about how they can't stand their label deals and they can't stand these things. And I can't exactly hate these artists for signing so quickly, because you blow up, you get this virality, and then you have labels and different people giving you all this praise and saying, hey, I'll give you all this money, I'll put you on tour, I'll do all these things. And it gets to people, because if you're signing and you're less than 18 years old, or you're just young and you haven't experienced any fame before, when it all comes at once, you don't know what to do, but you also want to keep it. So a lot of these artists rush into these label deals not knowing what's to come, but because of that, they don't last. TikTok is a tool, but if you don't know how to use it, you'll fade just as fast as you came up. Do you think TikTok rappers can ever last longer, or will they always just be short-term, one-hit wonder artists? Let me know in the comments what you think about this topic. I mean, it's something to really think about. If you're new here, please make sure to subscribe. I got more content coming on the way. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, follow any of my own music, you could do that. Follow me on Instagram, willarmani with 2 I's. It's been your boy, Willarmani. Please stay positive.